about charity. Welcome.
Good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody is okay. Today I would like to talk about charity. But what do we mean by this word? What associations do you have with charity? You would probably say love to your neighbor, kindness, unselfishness, and tens of other good and beautiful words. But why, if you ask a teenager to name 3 great outlaws and 3 well-known charitable persons, this teenager will tell you without any pause about the best evil geniuses, Al Capone, Hitler, Jack the Ripper. But for good guys, he would need a lot more time, and the answer would be Superman, Batman, and of course Catwoman. Well, I myself was this teenager. Some time ago, my teacher proposed me to join a group of volunteers who help in orphanages. And do you know what I asked her? Why should I do this? Well, as you can imagine, she wasn't happy with my answer. But I forgot about it, lived my life happily. But once, my grandfather told me about his early life. When he was a little boy, his father was killed at World War II, and his mother got very sick. So he was moved to an orphanage. It was right after wartime. Starvation was everywhere. People were ready to do anything for a piece of bread. So my grandfather, like all these other poor children, desperately sought food. And more to that, older kids took away whatever they had. But there was a kind woman who went to these kids and gave food to them. Just imagine, people were dying, working all day long to get something to eat for their families. And here's a woman ready to give away her bread to unfamiliar children. How many of us would do the same thing in a situation like this? Now more than 60 years have passed, but my grandfather still remembers that woman with warmness. There is a parable I would like to tell you. Once a man in his dream heard a voice. "Come with me, I will show you hell." So he found himself in a room. In the middle of the room was a table with the people sitting around it. On the table was a pot full of food. But these people were hungry. They were trying to eat with the very long spoons, so they couldn't reach their mouth. Then the man heard the same voice. "Come with me, now I will show you heaven." And instantly he was in the other room. The same table, pot, people with the long spoons, but these people were happy. Why? Because they fed not themselves, but the other. So, all these stories have eventually touched my heart, and after a little bit of thinking, I called my teacher and said, "Okay, I'm ready, take me into a volunteer group." In 2 days, we would go to the orphanage. The trip to it was really worrying. My hands were shaking. I didn't know what would I say to these kids. But when we at last got there, all my fears just disappeared. We spent a great time, and now it's a pleasure for me to visit these kids. We play games, talk, help them to understand school subjects. And you know, I feel that the day when we come is special for them. Each human can help these children. You don't have to be rich or to have super abilities. They just need your attention. Recently I have read that some of the kids, after leaving their orphanages and entering into adult life, become drug addicts, prostitutes, or criminal elements. And for others, it is really difficult to get used to a real world life. Well, of course, the solution to this problem is for children to find their families. But unfortunately, we don't have enough Angelina Jolies for everybody. So just begin with visiting an orphanage, make friends with the child you like, take him for a walk sometimes, and who knows what will become of that. Well, as for me, I really believe that by working with these children, I will make their life better. And maybe someday, some of these kids will take part in this competition. Thank you.
Thank you. Questions, please? Judges? Guests? Participants? Thank you.
If you were hungry, just like those people around the table, would you choose the heaven or the hell?
Thank you for your question. Well, I think some time ago, I would definitely grab the spoon and try to eat myself. But now I think I would feed you if you were opposite me.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, please.
Well, you said that you participated in those visits to the orphanages. Have you really made friends with some of the children? Can you actually name them?
Yeah, thank you for the question.
What did you do with them?
There was a guy, well, actually two guys. One of them was a small guy, his name was Vanya, and the other, we called him Cool Guy, because he had that sign, he looked at you like this. And you know, we were all friends, they were fighting with us, and I don't know, we just made friends.
It's a good way to make friends.
Yeah, fighting.
Okay. Any more questions? Yes, please.
Evgenia Kovchik, thank you for the speech. It was really personal. I would like to ask you a question. What did you feel when you came to an orphanage? Was it happiness only? Was it a great time? Or were there some other feelings? Thank you.
Thank you. Well, at first when I came here, I looked at these children. Well, they were not happy, really. Just imagine, they don't have parents. They live as well by the same routine every day. So at the beginning it was really like sad. Look at them.
Thank you.